Welcome to Majesty's House of Music. I think this should be chapter 5 or something. Yeah, this should be chapter 5 of our course on the key of A flat. Now, we covered diminished chords in the previous section. We've covered movements based on major chords, minor chords, combinations. So now we'll be looking at suspended chords. Suspended 2, suspended 4. Okay? So let's get right into it now. This is an A flat major chord. Okay, it looks like that: A flat, C, and E flat, right? Now, if I drop this C, which is the third on my scale, so the C to the 2, which is B flat, if I have something like this, now that becomes an A flat suspended 2. Okay. Now, if I have the major chord and I sharpen the C to the C sharp, which is pretty much the 4th on my scale, on my major scale. Okay, so that becomes an A flat suspended 4. Okay. So those are the two kinds of chords we are going to be using: the suspended 2 and the suspended 4. Not just for the key of A flat, for pretty much all keys, yeah? So, normally we like to play the suspended chords in this format. That one, okay? So you have E flat, A flat, B flat, and D flat. It's just that you have the same note on top and on the bottom, yeah? It's pretty much an extension, yeah? So it's this, but I have the E flat at the bottom. This is the format we like to use while playing suspended chords, okay? So now that you have the theory behind what a suspended chord is, so let's let's get right into this. How do you use suspended chords on the key of A flat? I will start with the basic theory for the 1 to the 7. Okay, normally we don't use a suspended chord for the 5 using this theory, okay, but we could use other suspended chords for the 5. So we don't normally use one for the 5. Yeah, I think it's just the 5. Yeah, so let's start from the 1, which is your A flat. So the first the suspended chord you use alongside the 1 is the F suspended 2 chord. Now we like to play it like this, so that you have C, F, G, and C. Then on your left hand you can have something like this: A flat, F, and G, or maybe F and A flat and G. Yeah. So that you have such A flat, F, and G. Then you have C, F, G, C. Okay. So that's for the 1. And if you use it on the 1, you can also use it on the sharp 1. So the sharp 1 is the A. So what actually changes is just this. You could just sharpen this to the A. Okay, so the rest remains the same. So you can have A, F, G, C, F, G, C. Okay, that's the sharp 1. So maybe if you wanted to play maybe the 1 to the sharp 1 to the 2. Okay, so you could do this. Okay, so the 1, the sharp 2, then the 2. Okay, so the same suspended chord you use for the 1 is the same use for the sharp 1, right? So I hope you got that correct. Then we have the 2. So you have B flat, G flat, and A flat. Then you have D, G flat, A flat, and D flat. Yeah, D flat, G flat, A flat, and D flat on your right hand. And I think it's the same one you could use for the sharp 2 as well. Yeah. Okay. So it's just this that changes. Yeah. So you could have B, G flat, A flat, then D flat, G flat, A flat, and D flat. Yeah. But I'll probably demonstrate once I show you the 3 chord. Yeah. Okay, then we have the 3. 3. So you have C, A flat and B flat, then you have E flat, A flat, B flat and E flat, yeah? 3, yeah? That's a 3. So assuming you wanted to play like a 1, 2, 3, you could use suspended chords. So 1, 2, 3 to the 4, maybe. Okay, so 1 to the 4. So that's just the theory behind it. Then, as long as you can use it on the 3, this one, you can use it on the 4 as well. So this is another voicing for the 4 you have already. Okay, so that's D flat, A flat and B flat. Then you have E flat, A flat, B flat and E flat. Yeah, it's the same thing, it's just the bass line that changes. It's just like for the 2 or, okay, so you could use this voicing for the 4. So maybe 1, 2, 3, then 4. Okay, so that shouldn't be complicated. Then for the 4, you also have another suspended chord you could use, okay? Not just this one, you could use this as well. Okay, so you have D flat, B flat and C, then F, B flat, C and F, yeah? So that's also another suspended chord you could use with the 4. So assuming you use different suspended chords for them, if you played the 1 to the 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that's how it looks like. So D flat, B flat, C, F, B flat, C and F. So that's how it looks like. Okay, then I said if you can use it on the 4, you can use it on the sharp 4. So, or the flat 5, yeah? So what changes is this. It's just the D sharp sharpened to the D. The rest of the notes are the same. So D, B flat, C, F, B flat, C and F, okay? You can use it for the sharp 4 or the flat 5. Now, that one can be used to substitute maybe a major 2, okay? Like we were using the song Amazing Grace. Then you could, you see that? So instead of the major 2 or the minor 7 which I showed you, so we could use, see that? Okay, so anyway, so the 4 and the sharp 4. Then for the 5 we don't use a suspended chord, yeah, because of note differences here and there. So what we like to do, this is the suspended chord we probably have used on the 5. It would have looked something like this. This is how it would have looked if we were to use a suspended chord. But we normally don't use a suspended chord. So what we do, we use a major chord, yeah? I think this was the very last chord I showed you in the major chord section, yeah? So the major 3 over the 5, we don't use it as a suspended, we use it as a major. So E flat, D flat, then you have G, C, E, G, okay? And this one always leads you back to the 1. So maybe the last part of Amazing Grace, so then see that, or okay, so or so it's just the same chord inverted. So it's normally the 5 over the major 3 over the 5. So something like a, okay, so something like that, yeah. So okay, so for the 5 we don't use a suspended, but now this suspended that we were supposed to use on the 5, we now use it on the sharp 5 or the flat 6, yeah. So for the flat 6 looks like that: E, C, D, then you have G, C, D, G. Okay, now you see a song like You Alpha and Omega, that part here, So instead of you just playing like that, you could use suspended. The 3 to the sharp 4 to the sharp 5, then to the 6. Okay, you see another voicing for the 6. I told you for the 1, 4, 6, and 2, I'll be giving you so many voicings. Then you have F, A flat, C, E flat. Then you have A flat, C, E flat, and A flat. Yeah. So you have that for the 6. So the 3. Okay, so that's a, okay. So you could do that. So yeah, this is the flat 6 or sharp 5 chord. Yeah, so E, C, D, G, C, D, G. Then we also have one for the 6. So it looks like that. So F, D flat, E flat, then A flat, D flat, E flat, and A flat. Yeah. And as long as you can use it on the 6, you can use it on the sharp 6 or the flat 7. So you just change the bass line to G flat, yeah? So G flat, D flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, E flat, and A flat, yeah? You can use it on the flat 7 as well. Then we have our last one, which is the 7. So I'm playing it on a lower octave, yeah, it's just the same thing. So G, E flat, and F. Then B flat, E flat, F, and B flat, yeah? Okay, so that's the chord. Then back to the 1. So 1, which is also the sharp 1. Then we have the 2, which is also the sharp 2. Same chord. Then 3, which can also be the 4. Then we have the 4 again, which can also be the sharp 4. Then we have the 5. I said it's not a suspended, it's a major. Then we now have the sharp 5 of flat 6, which is now the suspended. Then we have the 6, which can also be the flat 7 or the sharp 6. Then we have the 7, which can also practically be the 1. Yeah, it can also be the 1. You can use this on the 1. So you could have A flat, E flat, F, B flat, E flat, F, and B flat, yeah? Or that one. So there are so many options for you. So that is the basic theory. Like I showed you, that's on your alpha. So the part we give you, yeah, you could do something like, I'm using suspended chords throughout, yeah? From the 3 to the sharp 4 to the sharp 5 to the 6. Then I continue with the song. Then see what I'll do here. To the 6, I'm using the suspended chord again. To the 7, then to the 1. So you really need to do a lot of practice to know which suspended chord is used with which bass line, so that you don't mess up, yeah? So something like okay. So I just wanted you to note those two parts, yeah? And this one. or maybe because we said for the 5 you use a major, so use that G, C, E, G, then to the 6 with its own suspended chord, to the 7, then back to the 1. You could even use that for the 1. Okay, anyway, let's just keep it straight, yeah? So okay, so that's some simple work right there, but it's only simple after you practice. So before you get these things into your system, it's not going to be that easy. So you need to do a lot of practice, and preferably begin practicing with a metronome so that you have something like, so something there. So I just passed through the chromatic scale all the way from A flat back to A flat. Yeah, so yeah, that's already. So the 1, sharp 1, the 2, sharp 2, the 3, the 4, the 4 again, the sharp 4, the 5 with the major, the sharp 5, the 6, the flat 7 or the sharp 6, then the 7, then the 1, and then the 1 again. So remember the 4 and the 1, I think they have 2 suspended chords you could use. So you could use this for the 1 or this, and you could use this for the 4 or this. So there are 2 suspended chords you could use. So that's the basic rule for suspended chords. That's the basic. So let me show you movements you can use now within the suspended chord. So okay, so now maybe for the 1 you're supposed to play this as it is, but what you do, you separate your middle notes, yeah, the F, G on both hands, yeah, the F, G. So you start with F to G to F, the rest remain the same, yeah. Okay, so okay, so you could play such a movement, or F to G to E to F to G, then to F again. So F, G, E, F, G, F. Okay, so the rest of the notes remain the same, yeah. So okay, so you have to do it quickly, so you have to practice this. Okay, you could even do that, F, G, E, F. Okay, so those are some of the movements you can use on the 1. And let's go to the 2. They like to do that a lot. So you see, this is how the thing should be. Okay, this is how it should be. But what do you do, especially on your right hand? The G flat to the G to the A flat, yeah. So once you land on the A flat, you also land on the A flat on your left hand. Okay, you see that? Okay, then you back to the G on both hands, yeah. Okay, then for the 3, just like the 1, yeah. You could hear something. So how is that? A flat, B flat, G, A flat, B flat, back to A flat, yeah. Okay, or so A flat, B flat, G, A flat, yeah. Okay, then we go to the 4, the same theory. You see that? So B flat to C, then to A, to B flat, to C, back to B flat, okay? Okay? Or you could even use it on the sharp 4. Okay? Then we have the 5. The 5 is not a suspended chord, so no need to worry. For the sharp 5, same thing. This is what I'm doing. C, D, then B, C, D, C. That's on the middle fingers, yeah? So they have to be really flexible on both hands. Then the 6. You see I'm using the same theory. So D flat, E flat, C, E flat, D flat, I mean E flat, back to D flat, yeah? Then the same for the 7. Okay? See that? E flat, F, then D, E flat, F, back to E flat, yeah? Then back to the 1. Okay, that's the different one, the one for the 2. Then the 4, then the flat, that's a sharp 5, then the 6, the 7, you could even come up with movements of your own, yeah? There. That's a basic theory for suspended chords. I hope you get this very well because it's going to take a lot of practice. Yeah, if you are not very familiar with such movements. Okay, so if I want to play a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, then to the 4. So 1, then to the 4. So what happens there? So it's just using those movements in your middle notes. Keep the top notes intact. Yeah. So that was basic. Let me show you how else we use suspended chords. Now, if you probably have a bass player, this is what you would want to do. Okay. So maybe you have a song that goes 2, 5, then 1, 6. So that's just the progression. 6, then 2, then. You see what I did there? So that's where on the bass line, when the bass line is at 5. So you see what I did with my left hand? Now the suspended chord is on my left hand. It's not on my right hand. This is what I did. I played an A flat suspended 4. Then I dropped the A flat to the G. All that is still on this bass line, the 5. Then to the 1. Okay? That's A flat at 9, yeah? A flat, B flat, C, and E flat. So start with A flat, D flat, E flat, drop the A flat to the G, then back to the 1 chord. So the song goes the 2. I don't know if I've given you this voicing for the 2 already. So B flat, F, A flat, C, D flat, F, A flat, yeah? Then here is where you play. So instead of going to the 5, so the bassist will go to the 5, but you will do something like, okay? So you have this A flat, D flat, F, that's the 4. Then to the 5, B flat, E flat, G, to the 6, C, F, A flat, yeah? Then something like that. Then you have B flat, D flat, and G. That's the 7, and to the 1. Basically, it's like you are going up, yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. That's on your right hand, yeah. So this is a 4 chord, 5 chord, 6, 7, back to the 1. So now when you land on the 6 chord is when you play this suspended 4 on your left hand, okay? So what happened there? So da, 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 and back to the 1, okay? So on my right hand I have an A flat and 9 chord. So A flat, B flat, C, E flat, and A flat, yeah? So you see that? That should be quite simple, right? Yeah. So that's if you have a bass player, okay? Let me show you where else we use suspended chords. Let's say the movement, you want to play a movement like 3 to the 6, yeah? So this, so here I'll be combining both the suspended, the minor, and the diminished chords, okay? So you have this, so my first, so that's the 3, so you have C, F, G. That's a suspended 4 chord. Then on my right hand I have a G minor chord. So that's B, D, B flat, D, and G, okay? So you start with this. So that's a minor chord on my right hand, a suspended 4 chord on my left hand. Then I'll drop the D to the C sharp, and I'll drop the F to the E. The rest remain the same, okay? So here I'm forming like a diminished chord at the center. That's an E diminished chord, okay? Or a D flat or G or B flat, yeah. So then takes me to the 6, okay? So F, C, E flat, then G, A flat, C, E flat, and G, yeah? So that's my 6th chord, okay? You can even let go of the top note so that you remain with the diminished chord alone, okay? So, okay? Then, you can let go of the C, and the F, I think, and the G. Then, see what happened there? So, you can keep the top notes, or you can let go of them so that you have the diminished chord alone. Then let's use the same theory for the 6. So okay, so this is what we start with for the 6. So F, B flat, C, then E flat, G, C, okay? So that's an F suspended 4. Here I have a C minor chord, yeah? Then drop the G to the F sharp, and while you do that, drop the B to the A. The rest remains the same. You can either keep the F and the C or let go of them, okay? So then the 2. See the voicing? So B flat, F, A flat, then C, D flat, F, A flat, and C, okay? Okay, so okay, or you can let go of the F and the C, the top notes, yeah? Then so that's a movement that pretty much combines the minor, the suspended, and the diminished chords, okay? So maybe you wanted to play a 1, then 7, 7, 3, 6. So instead of you just playing chords, what would you do? You play the 1, the 7, then you do, you see that movement, then the 6, okay? So maybe you wanted to play the 6, the 3 to the 6, then to the 2. So you just play the 3, You see the chord I'm using? C, E, and B flat. Then I have E, B flat, and E. Okay, so, and I'm bringing the B flat up from the A flat. So 3, then 6. Use the movement, yeah. Then to the 2. Okay, so that's simple, yeah. Then to the 2. For the 7, 3, 6 looks like then this. So this is the chord I'm using for the 7. So I'm using G, F, and B on my left hand. Then I have F, B flat, and D flat on my right hand. Okay, bringing the B flat up from the A again. Then to the 3. Now you use these chords, yeah. Then or this. I taught you this voicing earlier. So the 6. So the 7. Then the 3. Then the 6. Or maybe the 3, the 6, then the 2. I also taught you this voicing earlier. So that will be pretty much it for the suspended chord section. There is a lot you have to practice to get this into your system, yeah, because these are not things that you grasp at a go. So you have to do a lot of practice for you to get some of these things. So that will be pretty much it for the suspended chord section. In the next section, we look at quarter chords. Quarter chords are actually inversions of suspended chords, but I do want to join them with the suspended chords because their use is slightly different. So I'll see you in the next chapter.